All right, here we go. This one's going to be a 9mm test. So today we have a couple plus P plus rounds to try out. So the one on the left is that Winchester Ranger. That one is 127 grain plus P plus. That's what that one looks like. It does have your nickel plated brass, and that one is rated at 1250 feet per second. So this one is actually the SXT. It's not the Ranger T. So it is a little bit older generation before the Ranger T was actually out. Kind of like your old school black Talon, just a little lighter and a little spicier. And the one on the right is our Federal 115 grain plus P plus. That is the 9B PLE. That's what that one looks like. Also nickel plated brass. And that one's rated 1300 feet per second. So this one is actually very well known in our gun community to be one of the best one-shot stops there is in this caliber. So we're going to see how it does today. So we'll be going out of our full-size Glock 17. This one is the Gen 1 reproduction. So we figure we're going to do old school rounds. Might as well use an old school gun. So that one does have your 4.5-inch barrel. So we'll be going through our gel. That is a 10% block. We do have our catch block behind that. So a total of 22 inches of gel. Our 4 layers of cotton t-shirt on the front. And like always, we'll set up our chronograph so we can hopefully pick up those impact velocities. So let's set up and see how these rounds do head to head. First one up will be that Winchester Ranger. All right, we're stepping back to 15 feet. All right, let's see how we did on that one. All right, so impact velocity on that was 1,343 feet per second. So that's actually not too bad at all. It's quite a bit over advertised. And that one didn't really have too much recoil, but really good to see there, almost 100 feet per second over advertised. All right, so let's see how we did. Looks like we got a really nice shot on that one. And like always, you can see right down in that cavity. It kind of does look like there is a piece of that jacket in there, some kind of shrapnel, but there is a huge star pattern so far, so really good to see. So let's check it out from the top. Oh yeah, it's looking really good so far, and I don't believe, actually, yeah, we do have a blowout here on the side, but really nice stretch cavity, nice spiral cuts going through, and it really doesn't look like it settled down too much on this one, but we did make it into that second block, so quite a bit of penetration on that. So let's see what kind of measurement we have. So basically all the way from the very edge of that block, and our widest spot over here, we are just shy of 2 3/4. So that's actually really good for you know, that 9mm. That one was, you know, pretty average on, or on par with some 357 SIG. I know I hate to say it because I do love 357 SIG, but that one was definitely right there with it, especially with, you know, the way that they load it these days, unless you're getting it from like Underwood or something. But really good to see. And same thing from the side. Check that out, huge stretch cavity coming in. It does look like there's a few fragments that did break off. Like I said, didn't really settle down too much. Maybe that last ½ inch or inch or so, it did start to flatline a little bit. But man, that is an awesome stretch cavity on that. So let's see if we can get a measurement on that. Let's see, so the very bottom of that one to the very top, we are just over 3 inches, maybe 3 1/8 inches on that. So very impressive for that one. Like I said, man, that thing was moving out pretty good. Definitely surprising. I didn't think we were going to get that kind of velocity out of it. So let's check it out from up here. And you can see where that round's resting down in that second block. So at our leading edge, we are at about 2 3/4 inches. So that one went 13 3/4 inches, the total penetration. So really good to see there. So let's set up for that Federal and see how that one does. All right, we're stepping back to 15 feet. All right, let's see how we did on that one. All right, so our impact velocity on that one was 1,319 feet per second. So that one is actually definitely over advertised. Wasn't as warm as that last one, but still really good to see there. All right, so let's see how we did on this one. So sorry guys, we actually missed that slow-mo on that last shot. So we'll redo it again eventually just so we can get that kind of recoil idea of what it's doing. But anyway, so that one is that shot on the left side, and that one looks like we got a nice good entry on that. So like the rest, you can see right down in there, and you can already see quite a bit of fragmentation going on, and there's a huge star pattern. So awesome to see so far. So let's check it out from the top. Oh yeah, and same thing, man. That thing came in and really opened up, basically exploded in there. Looks like it carried quite a bit of energy all the way through. There's quite a bit of fragments right there towards the end also, and I don't believe this one came out. Let's see. Looks like there is something. Yeah, it looks like we might have had just a little bit kind of go into that second block, but not too bad. So let's see what kind of measurement we have on this. So this one did go all the way over to the very edge of that block, and this one we are just shy of 3 1/4 inches. So same with this one. Super impressive stretch cavity for that, but really big. So let's check it out from the side. Check that out. Same thing from the side, man. Just came in and really opened up. You can see quite a bit more of those fragments from this angle, and right there towards the end it kind of looks like it shedded a bunch of them, but that one did make it through. Looks like it did settle down quite a bit towards that end. There's a really small track where we did get that exit, but huge amount of damage. So let's see what kind of measurement we have on this one. So from the side at our widest spot, we are right at pretty much the same, right at 3 1/4 inches. So very impressive for that 9mm. And looks like we just made it into the second block about 1/4 inch. So we got 11 1/4 inches of penetration on that. That one, you know, wasn't really expected to penetrate as much, just because it is a lighter round and it's kind of made a fragment. So really good. So let's check them out one more time from the top. So the one on the right is that Winchester Ranger, and the one on the left was that Federal 9B PLE. So here is that Winchester. That one came in, opened up really nicely, huge stretch cavity going all the way through. Nice uniform cuts. Doesn't look like it really shed too much. And then it did slow down there towards the end, and then we did make it into that second block. It is that top round. And for a Federal, same thing. This one came in. This one basically exploded in there. Dumped a ton of energy at that first, probably half to 2/3 of that block. Quite a bit of fragments, and right there towards the end, a ton of fragments. We did settle on quite a bit, and then that one did make it into that second block as well. It's can't really see it, but it is right there. Just barely made it in. But let's pull these rounds and see what they look like. Actually, we're going to show this top, just so you guys can get an idea what those are comparing to. So let's pull those out. All right, check these things out. Looks like they both got some really awesome expansion. So the one on the right is that Ranger, the one on the left is that Federal. So here is that Ranger. Looks like that one came in, opened up really nicely. Huge expansion on that. Not very uniform, but man, that thing really opened up, and there's a ton of gel seal stuff down in there. You can see that one pedal kind of kicked out, so that should be pretty wide when you get those measurements. But man, that thing is super sharp. That is one wicked round right there. The thing was moving out really good too, so awesome to see those velocities on that. But man, that is definitely nasty. Super sharp pedals. And we did have a little tiny fragment that we were able to get off that one. And here is that Federal. This one opened up really nicely as well. Not too much weight retention on that, but still quite a bit of expansion. Opened up, pretty much shed all its petals, shed a bunch of that lead. Same with this one. This does have quite a bit of that gel in there. Like always, we'll rinse them out here at the end before we get our pictures and all that good stuff, but did do really good. Almost looks like those nozzlers that we test with the 357 SIG. They pretty much just look like a pancake, and there was a chunk of that one that I did pull out with the round. There's still quite a bit left in the gel. I will pull out towards the end also, but quite a bit of expansion. So there is those from the bottom. So there's that Ranger, there is that Federal, and one more time from the top. So like I said, like always guys, we'll get our screenshot, slow-mo, all that good stuff here at the end so you guys get a better idea what's going on. But there we go. That one was the Winchester Ranger versus the Federal 9B PLE. There we go. Thanks for watching, guys. All right, here's that cross section for that Ranger. So this one has some really big splitting going on. Tons of cuts in there. Same on this side. Really big, deep splits. I did remeasure both of these sides, and at their widest, they're at 3 1/8 inches, and they're averaging about 3 inches. So that is a huge cross section right there. Pretty much right on par with our 357 SIGs that we're getting. So really good to see there. So let's cut it open. All right, and here's after being cut. So this bottom is the right side, this top is the left. So you can see right here about that 1/4 inch mark, it came in, opened up. It's a nice little crater right there, and just started dumping all kinds of energy. You can see that huge stretch cavity going on throughout. There's quite a bit of that cotton t-shirt and still quite a bit of fragments in here. I did pull a couple fragments out of the opposite side of the block. There was a couple towards the end, but there is still quite a few here, you know, in the beginning. But those are some really, really deep splits and just a ton of damage going on. And same on this top side, came in, opened up. Once again, huge, huge stretch cavity going throughout. This one has some really, really small fragments of lead in there. But same thing with that cotton t-shirt dragging in. Just massive, massive cutting. Those are some really, really huge splits there. So that was pretty impressive for that 9mm. Might have to rethink my you know, carry round whenever I do carry the 9. That one was actually pretty spicy. So there we go. That one was that Winchester Ranger 127 grain plus P plus. All right, and here's that cross section for that Federal 9B PLE. So this one was crazy. This one had a ton of damage too. There's a couple copper petals down in there, but just a massive, massive stretch. And like I said, with some of the other ones, with this amount of damage, it almost looks like a rifle round, you know, actually hit it, just with the amount of damage. I did remeasure these at their widest. They're actually pushing 3 3/4 inches, which is crazy for a 9mm. They're averaging about 3 1/2, but yeah, some of these widest splits 3 3/4 inches. So that is a ton of damage coming in. So let's cut it open. All right, so here's after being cut. So this bottom is the right, this top is the left. So you can see with this one, about the same 1/4 inch mark, came in, opened up. It's already dumping quite a bit of fragments. There's a lead chunk and a copper petal, but just a huge stretch cavity going on throughout this section, and just a ton of damage. Massive, massive cutting. You can see that stretch right there. Same here, just some crazy deep cuts. I think it was moving out pretty good too. Same on this top. You can see where it came in, started parachuting open. Once again, just a massive stretch cavity, and there is some more fragments here. I actually pulled out some up here also, and it did shed quite a few petals. So the weight retention on that one wasn't the best, but man, the amount of damage it created was pretty nuts. The same right there, just a huge amount of tears. Just really jumbled this stuff up. There's a little bit of that cotton t-shirt that it drug in. And sorry guys, I wasn't able to get the recoil slow-mo shot, so I will probably redo this one. It was definitely a fun test, but yeah, just one super impressive round right there. So both these 9mm, I definitely wouldn't hesitate to carry. They both had quite a bit of punch behind them. So there we go. That one was that Federal 115 grain plus P plus 9B PLE. Wanted to show one more quick angle of this one. You can see right there how much damage is going on, how much cutting is actually happening in this stuff. Just some crazy deep stuff. There we go.